Here's Phil Hendrie, 1-800-449-8686.
What? Don Parsley is with me. Don, tell me, so your wife got the clean bill of health?
Yeah, she did, Phil. And
did she had a mass? You know, I went through this with my wife. Maria had a mass that showed up on her mammogram.
Yeah, and they did an ultrasound, and they did a biopsy, and I'll tell you...
Pretty stressful, huh?
I'll tell you, it's one of the most stressful times you can think about what you're going to do, and because this is a woman that you love very much.
It's like I always say on this show, you know, guys go, what do I, you know, I mean, look, if you got a woman in your life that you love, you got to get to know some of this breast cancer stuff, right? So did the biopsy come back negative?
I'm sorry?
I mean, the biopsy came back negative?
Yes, sir, it did. Came back non-malignant, and non-malignant, I should say, and that's good news. But
you're still going through some depression over the whole thing?
Well, the thing of it is, when I heard she might have cancer, I was just absolutely sure I was going to lose her. I knew she was going to die.
Why did you feel like that?
Just because of the things I've done in my life. I mean, there's no way God wasn't going to take her from me. I have not been a good man. So I was sure I wasn't convinced she was going to. I mean, I thought she was going to die. I even sought counseling where I don't know if you are familiar with it. You can learn how to deal with death in 5 stages. There's denial, there's anger, you get depressed, then you grieve.
Then there's acceptance?
Yeah, then there's acceptance. So I worked very hard on putting myself through the 5 stages of dealing with death, and then the call came in here last Friday. I'm a model airplane enthusiast. I'm in a model airplane club. We were having some trials right out here in Gingham, and the call comes in, and my wife answers the phone, and she walks into the garage, and she's crying.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, here it comes. And she's a dead woman, and I turned to her because I was ready to accept it, and all I said to her was, I just said, I love you.
And she had good news, huh?
And she says to me, well, that's good, because I'm going to be around for a long time. And she said the doctor had called and said she was clear, it's non-malignant, and she doesn't have to see him for another year.
My God, Don, that must have been like a weight off of you, man. Like you probably wanted to take her out dancing, like you wanted to go to dinner, you know?
Yeah, I did. And it takes getting used to, because I was sure she was going to be dead. I used to say, I don't know why I did it, but I used to kid her when she'd come in the kitchen, oh, here comes the dead woman, you know.
You're kidding?
No, I did it as a joke, but she's alive, and what I learned in this class, dealing with death, if you want to continue moving on, so I wanted to keep moving on, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid I did a bad thing. And
what did you do?
One of the buyers at work, I'm in retail clothing. It's a terrific young lady that I met. We've had lunches together, and all I've ever talked about is my wife.
Did you get involved with this girl?
I did, yeah.
You got physically involved with this girl?
Yes, sir.
Give me a first name. What's her first name?
Her name's Marguerite. I met her back in April, and 3 weeks later we were having dinner, and she asked me to come in. And
now, where was your wife through all of this, man? If you were awaiting the news on a biopsy,
she was at home. I told her that I'd had meetings, and they were meetings because it was with a buyer for the store. So that part I'm really not guilty about. You know.
But this gal, you had sex with this gal, so those aren't meetings.
Well, I needed comforting. You have to understand, I'm about to lose my wife, and I was at the acceptance stage. I knew that my wife was dead. I knew she was a walking dead woman. There's a movie out, I don't know if you saw that movie called Dead Man Walking, which is what they say when a condemned man is coming through the block or the yard.
Yeah, I know the movie.
And I'd say, well, dead woman walking, you know.
Gee, that's a hell of a thing, man. I mean, you're waiting.
But it was my way, I know. It was just...
You're waiting on news about your wife who's having a biopsy on a mass in her breast.
I needed comforting, and
Are you feeling guilty? You got to be feeling guilty about all this. She's going to be okay, though. And if I were you, can I make a suggestion that you not even mention this? You don't say anything to your wife. Just let this woman go. Get on with your life with your wife, Jan. You know what I'm saying, Don?
Yeah, but I thought she was going to die.
Well, she's not dead.
I want, and Marguerite's agreeable to this. I want Marguerite to take our downstairs guest bedroom.
You want this woman to move in?
I know you can give me a million reasons why this is wrong.
You bet I can.
I can give you a million reasons why it's right.
You can give me... Look it. Your wife is alive. She doesn't have cancer.
I owe Marguerite for all the comforting she gave me while I mourned over my wife. I owe her a lot. I was going through hell. And I love my wife. And
your wife's alive, and to move some woman into your house that you had an affair with while you're waiting on a biopsy on your wife's breast cancer.
Well, my wife had breast cancer, okay? You don't know.
She didn't have breast cancer.
But she might have, and you don't know what it's like when your wife says to you, I may have breast cancer, which means she won't have no breasts. And when you meet a beautiful, intelligent young woman who's sympathetic, and additionally she had, very ample, and I'm going to kiss all of that goodbye.
But your wife's healthy.
Yes, she is. She's healthy, and I love her. But I just want Marguerite, since my wife had the possibility of breast cancer, I think it's fair for a man to want to have a woman around who will have breasts in case the one you got right now loses hers.
Do you hear me?
Yes, sir, but I worked very hard to heal and move on, and I've moved on, and now they tell me she's not going to die?
All right, let me give our phone number out, which is what we do at this point in the show. You're listening to the Phil Hendrie Show. I have Don Parsley on with me, whose wife, he thought for sure had breast cancer. She had a mass. She had, in her mammogram, she had an ultrasound, and they decided to do a biopsy. She's healthy, but in the meantime, he has had an affair and wants to move this woman into the house with him and his wife. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Let me ask you this question. How do you think this is going to make your wife feel, knowing that this woman is moving in?
I think she'll understand. See, you have to understand something about women, Mr. Henry, and this is a very important thing to know about women. When a man stands by them, the way I'm standing by my wife, when a man goes through what I went through for my wife, then they appreciate that man, even if... Look at Kobe Bryant. He cheated on his wife, and yet everything's fine, and he still has a lot of fans and everything.
Well, that doesn't make it right, man. I don't think what Kobe did was right.
But it's not. His wife is okay with it, and if I can get my wife to say it's okay. And
how are you going to talk your wife into saying, look, honey, when I thought you had breast cancer, I took out a little personal insurance policy. I had an affair with a woman who had ample breasts, and
I'm not going to tell her that.
All right, I had an affair with a woman, and I'd like her to move in because you now have the predisposition of the possibility of breast cancer, and you may lose your breast. I'd like to have one around who has two.
No, because...
Oh, well, that's what you said.
No, because Kobe Bryant cheated on his wife. And
well, you're basing your life on Kobe Bryant.
I'm basing my life on this. I went through hell. And Kobe Bryant has been through hell. And
what hell has Kobe Bryant been through?
He is a high-profile athlete in a highly demanding...
Oh, come on, Don.
No, sir. In a highly demanding profession. His wife understands that, and she accepts the fact that he got himself some up in the Rocky Mountains. And I'm saying to my wife, look at the hell that I went through on account of you had a mass in your breast. And
but again, all right, fine. You know what, man? You went through it. I went through the same thing with my wife, although it wasn't exactly the same thing. Maria had a mass. She had her sonogram, and she was fine.
Well, that's nothing compared to what I've been through.
No, I don't even think that it is, but it was stressful for a few weeks. Well, it's actually stressful for about a week for us when we got the results, and I went in with her for her sonogram and all that stuff, and like you say, Mr. Hendrie, most men don't know when you talk breast cancer, most men don't even know, you might as well be talking about playing with your own, feces or something. I mean, it's something they don't get, So I'm here to educate not only the women, but the men. And it's bad, bad, bad. And if you don't feel ashamed if you want to have, if you want to move on, because she's dead, she's a dead woman rocking. And also, on top of that, yes, she did have it amply, prepared. What do you mean amply prepared? She
had nice,
She had large breasts.
This young lady, Marguerite, yeah.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. We're talking to Don Parsley. He is a man who's just gone through, along with his wife, the fact that she had to have a biopsy on her breast. Everything was fine. But in the meantime, he, I guess, panicked and started sleeping with some woman from work. Now that his wife is fine, he finds himself attracted, or at least he finds himself wanting this new young lady to move in with him and his wife. The reasoning? He's been through hell. 1-800-449-8686. The world-famous Phil Hendrie Show.
The Phil Hendrie Show is back. 1-800-449-8686.
I'm talking with Don Parsley about his wife, Jan, who recently had a biopsy. It's a very stressful time for any woman and a husband trying to find out if she got a breast cancer or not, but it was negative. And you mentioned that you had something else. But before you get into that, Don.
Well, I just wanted to say about how I thought of another reason why Jan needs to let me have this lady live.
All right, but let me tell people that while you were waiting for the biopsy result, you started sleeping with another woman at work.
You have to understand, I knew my wife was dead. I knew she was as dead as anything you've seen on the Iraqi film, when they saw that kid, and it's a horrible thing when he got his head, they cut his head off. That's how dead I thought she was. But I thought of one more reason why she should let Marguerite move in. Also, another thing I forgot to tell you, I was sober for 4 years. And then all of a sudden my wife comes to me and says, I got to go in for a biopsy. And man, that did it. And I fell off the wagon. And I was sober, and I was sponsoring some people in AA. So
don't tell me you were in AA, sir.
Well, I know.
I mean, it's an Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm getting so sick and tired of people talking about they're in AA. It's anonymous. Because when you fall off the wagon, then it makes the program look like crap.
Well, don't tell me about it, because I've been in the program 4 years.
Yeah, well, you apparently you're going to have to start your program all over again. 1-800-449-8686. Cindy, you're on the Phil Hendrie Show with Don Parsley. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, did you say Cindy?
Yes, I said Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Go ahead.
Hey there, Phil.
Yes,
how
ma'am.
are you?
Good.
Okay, I'm so glad that man outed himself, because I'm also a member of a 12-step program. And I feel like this, that anybody that goes back out, or they take a drink, or they take a drug, that it's, it wasn't because his wife had cancer. It wasn't because he stubbed his toe. It's because, he's an alcoholic, and he's looking for an excuse to drink. He was looking for an excuse to drug.
I know what you're saying
I want
is
to say
true.
this, that,
only in this case, it is my wife's fault, because...
look, no, it is not her fault. It is your fault, sir. You are an extremely selfish, self-centered person for doing this to your wife. And this is adultery, plain and simple. You were wrong, and you were selfish. If you wanted to screw somebody else... Wait a minute. Then you needed to have gotten a divorce.
When they said that she might have breast cancer, I wasn't trying to cheat on her. I was trying to just,
Yes, you did try to cheat on her.
No,
obviously,
she was dead already.
It takes two to tango. It wasn't like you fell and tripped and you're...
Okay, wait a second.
Yeah, can I ask the caller to please watch your language? I know you didn't mean to say the D word there. Cindy? Is she gone? Okay. Oh, did you cut her off? Okay. 1-800-449-8686.
I didn't hear what she said.
Don't worry. She said a word that she shouldn't have said. Let's go over here to Danielle. Danielle, go ahead.
Hi,
Yes,
Don.
ma'am.
I keep listening to you, and I'm hearing two things. One, I think your math is bad, because your reasons why you have the affair don't add up. The first thing you keep saying is you keep comparing yourself to Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
Kobe made a mistake. Kobe's an athlete, etc. Listen,
he had an affair, and everybody still likes him and goes to the games and everything.
But you've been comparing your wife to his wife. The reason Kobe Bryant's wife is still with him is because she's young and stupid, and Kobe is a multimillionaire. You don't sound like you're married to a young, stupid woman, nor do I think you're a millionaire.
Wait a minute.
That's
How come you excuse his behavior then?
No.
Yeah, see, everybody wants to go see Kobe Bryant and everything. All I want is for my wife, Jan, to be a little bit more like Vanessa Bryant.
Wait a minute. That was significant. Hold on, Danielle. I want to hear that again. Danielle, hold on. It's Phil Hendrie. Danielle, hold on. Danielle, it's Phil Hendrie. Hold on. I want to ask Don, because he said something significant. You want your wife to be more like Vanessa Bryant?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because he had sex with a white girl on a chair, and that's about as bad as it gets, and yet she still is with him. And I only had sex with a lady because my wife went out and got breast cancer, and I didn't do it.
The rationale doesn't add up.
Went out and got...
The reason you had the affair is because you wanted to have it. Because you keep saying, you know, all the hell I've been through, my wife put me through this
That's
and
right.
that.
Yes, she
That's
did.
very selfish. How do you think that your wife has felt?
Well, that's true.
You thought she was going to die, but she was the one who was actually going to die. Now she's not dying, and you want to slap her in the face with another woman.
Okay, can I ask you a question? What do you think is worse?
If you thought she was going to be dead, and you went out and had the affair, it was weakness, okay, whatever, you did it. But now she's not dead, so the reasoning as to why you were having the affair is now null and void.
No,
it means
but
you're
also...
having the affair now because you want to.
But here, what do you think is worse? What do you think is...
What I think is worse is this.
Is it worse to have a woman? Is it worse to be living with a woman with no breasts or to be dead?
Let me explain
wife
something
at least
to
was
you
going to
about
be dead,
women because you
and
said
she'd be in
something
heaven
about
and everything.
women.
I'd have to be living with a woman that with no.
A moment ago, you tried to tell the host something about women.
Right.
Well, as a woman, I'm going to tell you something about women. Women respect and can accept things better if you're honest with them.
And
but
I
if
was.
you come to your wife, listen,
I was on. I said I wanted to move in because you could not have breasts,
it doesn't count.
and I may want one with breasts. That's all. And all Kobe
Then get one with breasts, but you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Look,
and if you
Kobe
want to have your cake and eat it too, then you need to be honest with your wife and tell her that.
I give my wife a gift certificate to the Sizzler and a spa massage. Look, Kobe gave his wife a ring, and all I can give my wife, Jan, is a spa massage.
4.5 carat pink diamond ring.
Right.
Okay, now you go out and do that, and I guarantee you could have your wife.
Okay, so now you're excusing the behavior. Now you're excusing the behavior because Kobe gave her a ring, and I can't give my wife a ring. Thank you. Thank you very much. I knew you'd agree with me.
Your logic
Wait a minute. That's your logic. That's not exactly. Thank you very much, Danielle. You're saying. What are we talking about here?
Look, Marguerite loves me just for me, okay? And I still love my wife, Jan. If my wife, Jan, comes down with breast cancer again, and then they have to go in and take her breasts off, then I already have a woman who will have, yes, okay, you're right, will have an ample pair of breasts, but also is very loving and all that. And you have to understand... I thought she was dead. I thought my wife was dead.
Okay, I know you thought your wife was dead.
And now all of a sudden the guy says she's not?
Well, the doctor gave you good news.
Yes, sir. It was great. I went through the 5 stages of loss, though. Doesn't anybody care about that?
Well, but he gave you good news, man. Your wife's going to live. Now you want this woman to move in, and what are you telling your wife? Just in case you lose your breasts, at least I got one that's got a couple?
Yeah, but also what about the other reason I said that she...
oh, yeah, I forgot. Because she had breast cancer, that's why you started drinking again.
Yes, I forget. That's right. And that lady who's in a 12-step program, she doesn't understand 12-step program. We're responsible for our actions, I was responsible for marrying a woman who might have, like, you know, a guy's chest. And
oh, man.
But that's my responsibility.
All right, hold on. 1-800-449-8686, The Phil Hendrie Show. We'll be right back.
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
You're a buttlog with legs.
The Phil Hendrie Show is back. 1-800-449-8686.
And I understand, Mr. Parsley, you're at the airport?
Yes, we are. And
are you there with this woman that you were...
I'm here with Marguerite, yes, sir. You have to understand that Marguerite, for an 18-year-old, is one of the most mature women that you're ever going to meet.
18?
She is very mature, and she helped me through this period when I thought my wife had breast cancer.
Well, are you at the airport with this young lady right now, sir?
Yes, sir, we are. There is a piece of property that I want to look at to south of Baja Mar in Baja, near Ensenada, and with some luck we'll be able to put a down payment on the property, put it in a trust with the Mexican government.
No, I understand. Are you buying this piece of property for your wife, for this young lady?
I'm buying the property for myself as a place to build a home to get away to, with my wife, but also hopefully with Marguerite, because you have to understand.
Why aren't you with your wife doing this?
Because my wife is, she's at home with our kids. I don't understand.
Mr. Parsley, your wife had a scare, a health scare.
Look, don't talk to me like I'm a kid.
I'm going to talk to you like you're a kid. Your wife had a health scare. She could have had breast cancer. She didn't.
But I thought she was a dead woman.
I know you thought she was a dead woman, but the good news, and it should have been great news, she doesn't have breast cancer.
But in the meantime, Mr. Hendrie, I was scared. I thought for sure she was a dead woman. I used to call her, here comes the carcass. The carcass is coming to town. You know, just jokes like that.
Here comes the carcass. Dead woman walking. Did she laugh at these jokes?
It was my way of dealing with it. She abandoned me.
How did your wife abandon you?
She went out and got breast cancer and everything. Marguerite stayed with me.
Did you call my show to get approval for this, sir?
I called your show, sir, because I listened to a lot of the talk radio programs, and I thought I would find some sympathy. Yes, sir.
All right, let me go over here to Betty. Hey, Betty, you're on the Phil Hendrie Show with Mr. Don Parsley. Go ahead.
Sir, you sound like the most self-serving, selfless, spineless person on earth. You said your wife went out and got cancer. Do you think she went out and bought it at a store? You couldn't even wait till she got her diagnosis, which tells me you already had this other woman lined up. This is not a new thing.
You hold on just right there. I didn't have no woman hold it. No, hold on just a second.
I won't hold on.
You hold on to your bloomers there.
You've been talking and you've been talking and you want
You're trying to
sympathy. But you're not going to get sympathy from any normal person.
What am I supposed to do? With my wife's
You're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to act like a man and be by her side.
I am by her side. I ain't getting rid of her.
You're supposed to wait till she gets her diagnosis. Then you're supposed to jump for joy. I'll bet you already had this other woman lined up. You've probably been having an affair for some time.
Now listen, you
found her awfully quickly.
I told you.
Watch your language talking to this lady.
Listen, I had this chick lined up on the side, okay?
Well, it sounds like
my wife, and she's not going to have no breasts, so I went out and found a woman with breasts.
God, man, are breasts that important to you? Can't you? What if
let me think about it for a minute. Yeah. Are you kidding me or what?
Well, then there's
if it's a woman that you love, for crying out loud, I mean, what is love to you, man? This is your partner. This is your...
You almost said the word fart. I heard...
Okay, so I almost said the word fart.
No, that would apply to you, not your wife. But let me tell you...
Hey, can I ask a question? When exactly did the bus for the Munchkins pull up? Because I think you missed it. Now, Mr. Hendrie, when I was trying to...
Have some respect, okay?
She's trying to tell me that I was having an affair.
I said it sounds like it.
Well, guess what?
Like it.
Well, maybe you ought to get a new hearing aid because you're wrong. That's not what happened. What I did, I used to walk into the kitchen when my wife was cooking and I'd shout, bring out your dead, bring out your dead.
Okay? Isn't that a manly thing to do?
It was a joke.
What poor
You got a woman waiting for a cancer biopsy, and so you walk into the kitchen and go, bring out your dead?
And you couldn't even wait for the biopsy to come back. It sounds to me almost like you wanted to be a positive diagnosis. I hope your wife is listening to this.
You know, Betty,
and when you get home, your clothes are out in the street.
Betty, you remind me so much of my mother-in-law, it's scary. And that's why at this time I must ask you, is this Francine Oberlin? Yes or no?
No, it is not.
That you are a liar? You're my mother-in-law, aren't you?
No, I am not a liar, but I'll tell you
You're calling from Rancho Mirage, California, aren't you?
What?
Are you calling from Rancho Mirage, Francine?
No,
I know this
I
is
am
you.
calling
No, I know
from
this is you.
No.
This is you, and you've been doing this to me for
Man,
15 years.
They're going to drop a net over
it
you.
sounds like her.
Wait a minute.
No, it's her.
No, it is not.
Well, Francine, I want you to hear this loud and clear. I love your daughter very much. And I'm going to stay with her for the rest of the
Boy, you know
I hate
something?
it when you laugh at me. I hate it.
Sooner or later, somebody's going to put a net on you. It's like you left a
You know
Metropolitan
what? How I know
Hospital.
it's you? Because you got that spastic glottal thing going on in the back of your throat. You know,
Are you sure this is your mother-in-law?
I know it as sure as God made green apples. And listen to the way she laughs every time.
I am not your mother-in-law. Thank God. If I were, I would probably kill you myself.
Man, I'll cut you.
Listen, Betty, thank you for your call. I appreciate that very much. I do not believe that is your mother-in-law. This is a lady. We knew the area of the country she's calling from, and it wasn't Rancho Mirage.
Well, I can tell you, Mr. Hendrie, that I have been harassed by her. My mother-in-law has called our home every day, disguising her voice, pretending that she's calling from a credit collecting agency, pretending that she's calling for my wife from the bank. I'll say, no, this is her husband, and then she'll say, this is your mother-in-law, and she'll make some reference to how under-endowed I am, or this or that. And if that wasn't my mother-in-law, then that was Betsy Ross herself. So what do you think?
All right, we'll be back here in a minute. Our number is 1-800-449-8686. The world-famous Phil Hendrie Show.
The Phil Hendrie Show is back. 1-800-449-8686.
Sarah, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendrie Show. Don Parsley.
Hey there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how you doing? What's your
Fine.
name? What's your name?
My name's Phil Hendrie, and this is...
No, the caller's name. What's the caller's name?
I'm Don Parsley, ma'am.
All right, okay. Well, listen, you're close in age to me. And the way I hear it is you say you're an alcoholic, you fell off the wagon
Yes, ma'am.
because your wife was going to have a biopsy. She wasn't even confirmed that she had cancer yet. But yet you're out there messing around with some 18-year-old. You know that 18-year-old is going to drop you like a hot potato in the long run because you're too old for her, okay?
Oh, okay,
The second thing is that you need to be there for your wife. You don't need to be hussing around all over the place making excuses for
I was there for my
alcoholism
wife.
and all this other stuff.
I was there for my wife. I was there for my wife, and she went out, she got breast cancer,
The problem here
and
is that
pushed me through.
You're comparing yourself to Kobe Bryant and his wife.
That's right.
You need to make sure that
That's
you
right.
understand who's playing the role. Your wife is Kobe Bryant. You are the wife. You need to support her. You need to be by her.
What?
And you're not doing that.
Well,
if you say you love her,
You
then
don't make no
support her.
sense. Kobe Bryant.
No, you don't make any sense.
You don't make no
You're
sense,
sitting there
lady.
trying to make an
Kobe
excuse.
Bryant
Well, that doesn't-
cheated on his wife, and everybody said that's okay, and they still love him, and they go to his basketball games.
everybody said it was
I had an
okay.
affair.
You say it's
I had an
okay.
affair because my wife was a dead woman walking, and everybody wants to dump all over
She was
me.
not a dead woman walking.
Oh,
She was
come
getting
on.
a biopsy. She was not a dead woman walking,
Oh, come
guy.
on. When they tell you got to go in for a biopsy, you might as well start sizing up the box now.
Biopsies, guy, and I'm not dead, and I'm not going to be dead if I take care of myself. All right?
You've had a lot of biopsies?
You know, if you're saying
You know,
that a biopsy means
your
that you're
husband better
dead,
start shopping around, man, because even if you live,
you
now
didn't
you're
marry
going to
your wife
have
because
one,
she had two.
and he better go get some with.
Will you let the lady finish?
Well,
You did not marry your wife because she had breasts. You married your wife because of the individual she was. If you didn't marry her for her body, then you married for the wrong reason.
All right,
You
Miss
should
Hendrie.
never have gotten married.
they called for our plane to board, Marguerite. So what do you want me to do?
I want you to stay on my show. I can't believe you're going to Mexico with this woman, okay? And
That's the facts of the life. And this lady here's got it all wrong.
No, I
She
got
says-
it all right. I think it's a little scary for you to understand what I'm saying, though.
You know, I used
You
to
know
get.
you've done wrong.
I tried to lighten the load for my wife through the 3 weeks. I used to get the measuring tape from our tool shop, and I'd measure her up, and she'd say, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I've got to get a box sized for you, you know."
Well, you have got to be kidding me, guy.
Why do you think that's-
She should have done that for you when you first said that you were an alcoholic and fell off the wagon. She should have been measuring you instead
think
of
that's
you
funny,
measuring
huh?
her.
no, she should have been measuring you when you told her you had a girlfriend on the side. She should have measured you for a box. You're lucky she didn't go get a gun and shoot you.
What's she going
No.
to? She knows it's her fault. She knows she's caused me to want
Because she has cancer?
No,
She
because
could've
if
had
she
cancer?
only has if she's got no boobs, why wouldn't I want to have a woman who's got a pair?
So that's
my
the whole
God.
reason why you went out and got a girlfriend. 18, huh?
She's very mature.
Oh, and
All
he
right.
ain't mature. Ain't never gonna be mature.
What's that, Margaret? Yeah, my plane's boarding, okay? So I'd love to sit here and chit-chat with Grandma here, but I got to get going.
All right, I want to take
Go ahead and laugh.
I want to take another phone call.
Well, I don't want to take another phone call.
Why not?
Because I've been abused and treated like a piece of human garbage. You know, you can laugh, Mr. Hendrie, but I'm on my way to Mexico with a 38D. So,
you know, that's all it is to you, man, isn't it? That's all it is to you. Your poor wife is at home having... she's the one that suffered.
How do you figure that?
Because she's the one that had cancer, man. Hey, just in case you didn't know, it kills women. They don't just lose breasts, they die.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I went out and got a woman. Everybody yelling at me.
Peggy, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendrie Show.
Hi.
Yes, Peggy.
I want this man to realize that he is making a possible tragedy for his wife into a poor me situation.
What did I do?
And that is uncalled for.
No.
I personally, my mother died of cancer back in 1948.
Okay, perfect.
I personally have had 2 breast biopsies and a needle aspiration.
Yeah.
But my doctors assured me that not every biopsy turns into cancer, and therefore my husband of 38 years did not go out and choose a girl with boobs.
Well, then it's my doctor's fault. It's the doctor's fault because the doctor didn't say that to me.
No, it's not.
If the doctor would have said your husband it might be cancer, he might have gone out and got something.
No, you don't go out and get cancer.
No.
Also, what would your...
Man. You know, can I say something?
Stop.
I'm still thinking about my mother-in-law. How I'd love to tie her up in a wheelchair with electrical cord and push her into traffic.
I don't care about your mother-in-law.
I want to do it so bad.
Go ahead, Peggy. We're listening, Peggy.
What would your wife have done if you had prostate cancer? Would she have gone out and picked a young man and had an affair with him?
They don't cut your thing off if you have prostate cancer.
Well, you sure can't do much.
No, they don't.
You sure can't do much, I've understood.
What?
And also, men
What's up, babe?
have and do get breast
That's my plane.
cancer.
I don't know what. My plane's coming. What do you want me to do?
I want you to stand here and take your medicine.
Hold on,
Did
babe.
he hear me say that men do and have gotten breast cancer? It's not a woman's
that's pretty funny.
disease.
Men do get breast cancer.
And men
Yeah, maybe
do
fat
and
men
have
do.
gotten
Fat-
breast cancer.
Maybe Michael Moore does. He's got boobs big enough.
You know, all this
Where you going,
man wants
Marguerite?
is...
Marguerite, where you going? Okay, she's getting on the plane. I got to go. 'Cause I'm looking
All
at
that man wants is
All right.
assurance it's okay.
Peggy.
And it's not okay.
Peggy.
Yes.
I talked to my mother-in-law tonight. She tried to disguise her voice, but I knew it was her.
Oh,
okay?
I
She
heard
called-
you.
No, that was my mother-in-law. Okay.
I heard you. Look,
The living hell she's put me through. I would laugh if the brake went out on her wheelchair, and the next thing you know, she's on her way right down
you're
Post
pathetic.
in San Francisco.
You are so pathetic.
Pathetic that you want your
I'm glad you
mother-in-law to
don't
die.
live in Virginia, where I'm from, because
okay.
men are men,
All right.
not
out here-
for me situations.
Women out here have at least one breast.
Oh, I
Okay.
have,
Peggy, thank you very much.
you're
I want to tell you right now, I
welcome.
knew
He's a
that
loser.
I knew that was my mother-in-law.
He's
if
a
I find
loser.
out-
Bye.
See you later, Peggy.
Anyway, my mother-in-law, I'm going to go out and find her. I'm going to tie her up with electrical cord. I'm going to wait for the Palm Springs to Indio bus, and I'm just going to go, oops, and right on out into the bus lane she goes. Hold it right there, Marguerite. I want it, yeah. Bloody Mary double. I got to get in the first class. They just called up first class.
All right. There you go. A real piece of work. A real piece of trash. Don Parsley. His wife had breast cancer, so he took out a little insurance policy. A chick who's got 2 good breasts. Oh. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendrie Show.
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
I know women that will forgive cheating by a man for a short stack of pancakes.
I think you are ignorant. Your dog must be an awful lot more intelligent than you are. Anyone who does this to a child is ignorant.
What? What did I do to a child?
To have that child put that tennis ball in the child's mouth.
Well, I was teaching him a lesson not to put that into the mouth of 2 pedigreed animals.
What difference does it make if it's a pedigree or whatever? A dog is a dog is a dog. I am an animal lover.
Well,
but I certainly wouldn't treat a child like that.
Let me tell you a little bit about Boomer and Sandy, Marianne.
I don't care about Boomer and Sandy.
These dogs listen when their names are called. They know where their water dishes
So
are.
what? Mine do too. But I certainly wouldn't treat
Do
a
they know
child
when they're
like
hungry? They know when they are tired. They're very special.
They know when they're hungry, and they know when they're tired, and they know when they're special. Every dog knows that.
Exactly.
Not every dog. No, not every dog.
Ma'am, your dog, I hate to say this, but your dog is more intelligent than you are.
What we do at Western Estates is we have a crash program in getting to know our dogs. The animals are allowed into your home, very briefly. Of course, if we get any pushback, that turns into a big thing. And
Well, what do you mean pushback? If I don't want the dog in my house,
well, why wouldn't you want two pedigreed AKC golden retrievers in your home?
well, maybe because they crap on the rug.
So?
Can I ask, ma'am?
So what?
Yes?
Can I ask you, what is the difference? I know what an AKC and a pedigree are, of course.
Yes.
But I have rescued pets from the animal shelter.
Well,
who
you don't sound like you love animals. You don't sound like you love animals.
I love animals.
You've been talking about Boomer and Sandy as if they're garbage, and I find that awful.
No, I'm not. I didn't say they were garbage. I said they're more intelligent than you are.
Well, no, but you said if my dogs did their business in your home, it would be a statement on your personality. They'd be marking territory against you.
So, in other words, you're saying that when the animals do their business on someone's rug, they don't like that person?
Yes, that's true. Well, she can laugh if she wants.
You're sick. You are
No,
sick.
you know something? You're sick.
You shouldn't even have pets. You're too sick to have pets.
You know something?
Goodbye.
We have two $1,400 retrievers.
Well, you know what?
If you're jealous, that's your problem.
That $1,400 must be an awful lot of money to you because you keep bragging about it. Well, who cares how much you pay for your dogs?
Because our animals are special, I think is the word.
Every animal is special, ma'am.
Sure, you're trying to tell me that some beat-up, run-over cat is as special as my dog?
Every animal is special.
Forget it. Some cat. No way is a cat equal to a dog.
Goodbye.
No, cats are not equal to dogs.
Phil Hendrie Show.
Comedy Gold.
Phil Hendrie Show. 1-800-449-8686.
Hey, Popeye, why don't you grab a piece of spinach and slide off?
8686.
So, Herb, you've got a documentary on Father's Day. Why?
Well, Phil, Father's Day is a day that perhaps is the most painful of all holidays, and I didn't want to begin doing any press on this until after Father's Day because I suppose it would have been seen as sort of raining on some people's parades.
What is it do you find about Father's Day that is disingenuous? Because the film, I know, interviews fathers you say that have been abandoned.
Fathers, Phil, are not seen in the same sentimental light as mothers. Fathers are underappreciated, it is my opinion. Fathers are the ones who I suppose the children tiptoe around a little bit. It's not the great experience I suppose some young fathers think it will be. and this being the day after, I think the reality of that has hit home, I think, with a lot of your listeners.
So your documentary sort of tells these stories of fathers abandoned by their kids or devoting themselves to their mothers, and
that's correct. And we tell a lot of interesting stories in the film. In fact, my own story, I think, is compelling in that it mirrors many of the men who we spoke with.
Well, you haven't spoken to your own kids in a long time. Is that true?
It is close to 7 years now. Yes.
Why is that?
Well, the mistakes I've made with my children, with my family, I've owned up to the mistakes that I have made, and I've paid for my mistakes. And I think because of that, my children owe me whatever forgiveness children owe their parents, and they need to know. You see, Phil, there's no rule book for being a good parent. Every parent listening right now can relate to that. You do the best you can.
Do you know why your kids have stopped talking to you? Was there one reason?
Well, there were a lot of reasons, I suppose. I might have been too strict. I worked a lot. I was away from home a lot, and their mother died when they were young, and I know without question this traumatized them, and they were there when it happened, as I was, and it was a terrible day for us. And also,
well, tell me, their mother died when you guys were there. Tell me what happened. It figures into why they won't speak to you, perhaps. Do you suppose, or do they somehow blame you?
Well, I've got to believe they do. I'm sure that they do, but no one gives you a rule book. And that's the most important thing about being a parent. No one gives you a rule book. No one tells you the rules. So you're working blind. And I don't, and certainly you can't expect...
well, what happened with their mother?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. We were traveling north with the kids over the grapevine. This was about 7 years ago.
And for people, just to interrupt you, Herb, who don't know, that the grapevine, that's a part of Interstate 5 through North L.A. County.
We were heading north, yes. And my wife, whose name was Diane, and she was upset that day. We were on a family outing, and I wanted so much for us to have a good time. And the children were in the car.
But how many kids do you have?
Well, I've got 3. Paul, Kim, and James. Paul, Kim, and James. And she was angry over a party we'd been at. And there had been a young lady from our department who was following me around, and my wife was a jealous woman, so she was angry about this. But she picked the wrong time to bring it up, and I simply told her, Diane, the children and I want to have a good vacation together, and if you don't, why don't you just leave? and I good-naturedly leaned over her, and I opened the car door, and the next thing I know, I could see myself. I don't know how it happened, but I found myself, I saw myself suddenly just pushing her out of the car, and of course it was almost funny when you stop to think of what I said to her.
My God, So you pushed your wife...
Well, in a way...
You killed your wife, is what you're saying.
Well, there's no rule book.
No, but you pushed your wife out of a moving car, is that right?
Well, let's hold on for a minute. You say I killed her.
Well, you killed your wife, and that's what traumatized your kid. That's why they don't talk to you. Correct?
And I was incarcerated for 6 years at the state prison in Avenal, and I've made my amends, and I've made my amends to my children, and I've been through all of this. And what I'm on your show to talk about is my documentary on how fathers, for the most part, are treated poorly by the children, simply because there is no rule book. There's no guidebook on how to raise children. This is...
Well, wait, so the kids were all right with this? Why did you push your wife out of the car?
I don't know. The prison doctor told me I had an anger management problem. I've taken some seminars. He told me, Herb, you need to understand that some people are going to be insensitive, and anger is not the way to deal with it.
Well, wait. All right, hold on for a minute. Because if your kids haven't spoken to you in 7 years, from the time you pushed their mother out of a moving car, are the kids clear on all of this?
I think so.
Do they understand? Do they forgive?
Well, I think they knew their mother as well as I did. One thing that they knew about their mother, and that I knew about her, and it was difficult to deal with, was she didn't know how to just be quiet. I used to say to her, Diane, just be quiet. And she'd go on and on and on. I saw this house. We have to move. My father and mother are coming to visit. And of course, she knew that I didn't enjoy that. And so...
You did 6 years where?
Avenal.
Is that a state prison?
Yes, it is.
So all right. Our number is 1-800-449-8686, The Phil Hendrie Show. My guest is Herb Sewell. His documentary on fathers and how they've been abandoned by their kids, how fathers are the most misunderstood and mistreated of the two parents. And in your film, you deal with why you think that is. The question, though, as I move through this interview with you, Mr. Sewell, is... Do you see a connection? Your children haven't spoken to you in 6 years.
No, they haven't. But you have to understand, and we're getting far away from the point. The point is, children are bond with their mothers from the time they're born. And it takes an awful lot for them to bond with their fathers. And if you are working a lot, and I was working very, very difficult. I was working as assistant director and director on a couple of projects. And so my children, as a result, I don't think were encouraged by their mother to bond with me. And
yeah, but in the 6 years they haven't spoken to you, you pushed their mother out of a car, and they haven't, out of a moving car?
Look, again, we're far afield of why I came on your...
Well, you were on the grapevine on Interstate 5, and you reached over...
He was going on and on and on about this young lady who had paid attention to me at a party. And I said, if you don't like it, why don't you leave? And I leaned over, and I opened the door, and I pushed her out. But, as I told the judge, and as two psychiatrists attributed, I wasn't... It's almost as if she... caused me to push her out because...
Why? Because she was talking to you about some...
She wouldn't be quiet. Diane never knew how to be quiet. You know, and what my fear is that you are not hearing me about...
Well, I'm just putting 2 and 2 together, and if it's coming out 5, let me know. Your kids haven't talked to you in 7 years. From the time you pushed their mother out of a moving car.
Well, I don't know if that was the date. No, I don't know if that was... I'll tell you when it happened. They moved. They talked to me after they... If you're asking me, did they talk to me when their mother died? Yes, of course they did. They stopped talking to me after they moved in with their grandparents, Diane's parents. Now, this is a woman, my mother-in-law, who, if you want to know where Diane learned how to not be able to just be quiet, it was from her mother. You know, and this is a woman... I don't even call her...
All right, so you've got some issues with your mother-in-law. You think that she unfairly influenced the kids?
Oh, without question, without question. And this is what I'm talking about. There is no rule book to be a father. There is no...
No, there isn't a rule book to be a father or parent. But maybe the first thing that you don't want to do is push your wife out of a moving car.
Well, you know, Phil, there's an old saying, and, you know, if my uncle had wheels and pedals, he'd be a horseshoe. If there's an awful lot of things that we go on, sort of a hypothetical way of going about life. I go about life the way it is. My children are ungrateful, as many children are, for the many things that I've done for them. And I've done a great deal of work with Dr. Finneman, the prison doctor. 6 years of incredible soul-searching therapy, and my children still treat me with disrespect. This can only be one reason. I think it's the influence that was their mothers and then finally their grandmother. And so my film points that out.
And who do you blame for all of the disrespect that kids heap on their fathers?
Well, the obvious person to blame is the mother. The mother does not want to relinquish control of the children. And as a result, the father is blamed, and therefore the father... That's why Father's Day was, for me and for many millions of American men, so very unfulfilling. And that my children would not call me.
But I have to mention the fact that you pushed their mother...
Well, you can mention it...
No, you pushed their mother out of a moving car at about, you know, I don't know how fast you must have been going, but it couldn't have been very slow.
Well, you're going up the interstate grapevine. You have to understand, you've got a lot of these people who are on your tail. So you're doing probably through that area, you know, as you're coming off the grapevine, probably approaching 85, 90 miles an hour. But I don't want you to keep focusing on Diane forcing me, really, to push her out of that car that day. Focus instead on the damage she did before in my relationship with my children.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. You heard the man's story. That's Herb Sewell. He's a documentary filmmaker. His new film is coming out on fathers and why they're mistreated by their kids. Why so many fathers are abandoned by kids. Why so many fathers don't have the same relationship with their children that perhaps their wives or the mothers of the children have. His kids haven't spoken to him in 6 years. Now, the kids are living with their grandparents because apparently Mr. Sewell got into some kind of an altercation with his wife and pushed her out of a moving car on the interstate. The kids were there that day, saw that, and they haven't spoken to him almost from that date. He doesn't see a connection. I personally think I see a connection. You might ask him, Janice, if he's really wants to continue with this conversation, because I'm fully not quite getting where he's coming from, although he's blaming his wife for the miscommunication he has with his kids. 1-800-449-8686. Yes, I asked him how fast they were going. My producer's at, did you ask how fast they were going? He said close to 90 miles an hour. That's a gruesome, horrible thing. How come fathers aren't respected by their kids? 1-800-449-8686. The world-famous Phil Hendrie Show. We'll be right back.
The Phil Hendrie Show. 1-800-449-8686. He's still Jenny on the block.
I was just talking to Mr. Sewell off the air. Herb, you there? So we had a problem with the connection. Herb, you there?
I'm right here, Phil, yes.
All right. What we're talking about here is the documentary they've come out with about fathers and how they are not treated by their mothers. By their wives.
Well, it's funny you made that Freudian slip because in a lot of ways husbands are treated by their wives as if they're little boys. So it's not too far afield, that Freudian slip.
Well, whether it's a Freudian slip or not, they're not treated by their wives fairly. So the kids are ostracized. Fathers don't have the same relationship with their kids as mothers because the mothers undermine it.
Absolutely, without question. And again, my own experience is in that my wife Diane, and then her mother after Diane was killed, poisoned their minds. And so, as a result, I don't have the right...
And you don't see any connection between you pushing their mother, Diane, out of a moving car on Interstate 5 and killing her?
No, but the connection, I've already talked to you about that. I did my time. I paid for the crime, as we say, and I certainly made amends to my children. So why wouldn't they, in a Christian society, why wouldn't they forgive me?
Good question. 1-800-449-8686. Mr. Herb Sewell, documentary filmmaker. Here is Marty. Marty, hi. You're on the Phil Hendrie Show with Herb Sewell.
Hello.
Yes.
Comment. Yes, in a Christian society, turn the other cheek. However, I'd like to just make one point. You've said several times that your children are selfish and have been influenced by their grandparents.
Well, absolutely.
Or that the wife was mouthy and wouldn't shut up. You have taken no accountability whatsoever. And furthermore, just because you did your time in prison...
Well, I did 6 years of that and all.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter that you did time in prison. You keep pointing your fingers to other people. Instead of looking at yourself, you murdered your mother, the mother of your children.
No, it was third-degree manslaughter, for which I did 6 years.
That's what the jury stated. You pushed her out of a moving vehicle, and you blamed your mother-in-law and your father-in-law and everybody else for your children not talking to you.
Well, Marty, if I could get a word in edgewise, if you have the same problem my wife had, you wouldn't, shut up. And I don't mean to say shut up, but you just won't be quiet. Listen, first of all...
well, you got to let my callers have their say, and then you can say what you want to say.
That's fine. But the mother-in-law in question is... this woman who is my so-called mother-in-law, I say so-called mother-in-law because I call her the creature. And the reason why I call her the creature is simply this. She is the one really at the heart of the matter.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you. This creature gave birth to your 3 children, so in essence...
This is exactly why Diane got herself pushed out of a car, because she wouldn't be quiet.
And belittle and degrade are part of your children, so while you're belittling your deceased wife, you're cutting down your children.
No, they've been influenced by the creature, and that's why they don't give me respect that I'm deserving. Now, Marty, you are a very good example. One of the reasons why I did the movie is to not only show what's happening to fathers, but to show women such as yourself who constantly want to blame. You're the reason, Marty, that young people don't want to speak with their fathers, because you talk all the time, don't you? Are you married?
I've been married for 14 years, and I'm a Christian.
Well, but what? You're a Christian, but you don't buy that turn the other cheek thing. You see, that's what I love about a lot of you.
Chuckle. You keep blame. You criticize your deceased wife. They call her a creature, and that creature's blood is in your children. So when you cut down your deceased wife, you're cutting down your kids.
No, I'm not cutting down my wife. I'm cutting down the creature, the mother-in-law, and that is the creature. My wife simply couldn't shut up. Now, as to the Christian, as to the Christian society that you claim to be a part of, the hypocrisy there, I think, is evident for all to see. That we live in a society there that...
Well, wait a minute. You pushed their mother out of a... there is such a thing as trauma, where even if a child says, yes, Daddy, we forgive you, they'll never forget seeing...
Well, then someone needs to teach them that. And who should teach them that? But the people that the court has awarded the custody to, which is the creature and her husband, my so-called father-in-law. Now, my wife, out of her own insecurity, turned my 3 children against me, yes.
You just point fingers. You're one of millions of people who refuse to take accountability, responsibility, and accept what they've done.
Listen, I did
you'll
6
blame
years
everybody
at
else
and that
instead of
included
looking at yourself.
And
I'm going to make one last comment. May God have mercy on your soul.
Jesus loves you. Now,
all right. So what is this?
Well, she claims to be a Christian. She's for all I know, she's a Muslim.
All right.
See the sarcasm?
No, she's making fun of your laugh.
Well, the laugh comes from the idiocy of that woman's position and calling herself Christian, and she can't forgive me.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Celine, you're on the Phil Hendrie Show. Go ahead.
I need to say to you that marriage is a two-way street.
Yes.
You have problems. The wife has problems. The husband has problems. There are ways to solve problems. Growing up, I have gone on the grapevine. What a terrible, terrible thing that you did, especially in front of your children.
Well,
if nothing else, you should have pulled. No, excuse me, and stop with that laugh. You're not going to get any forgiveness.
I'm not.
And I am a good Christian.
Well, then you have to
pulled
forgive
over
me.
on the side of the road, taken her out of the car, and discussed this with her. Your children have no business forgiving you because you did something that was unforgivable.
What we're talking about, Dr. Sewell, is that you pushed your wife out of a moving car at 90 miles an hour, and I haven't heard you say, I was wrong.
Well, Mr. Hendrie, 6 years at Avenal State Prison is enough. I was wrong, I think. I don't know what more you want from me. Now, my children need to come to me and say, we're sorry that we're being disrespectful to you, Daddy.
Even though you pushed their mother out of a car?
Well, it's not as if I was doing the worst thing in the world. The children knew that she talked too much.
You need to face reality. You need to face reality.
All right, thank you, Celine. 1-800-449-8686. Herb Sewell is doing a documentary on fathers. Why are they so left out? He pushed his wife out of a moving car in front of his kids, but he still doesn't understand why they won't talk to him. 1-800-449-8686.
Phil Hendrie Show. 1-800-449-8686.
You're a buttlog with legs.
The Phil Hendrie Show is back. 1-800-449-8686.
Now, I understand Herb Sewell is with you. I understand you're en route now, Herb, to a screening.
That is correct, Phil, if you don't, and if you can hear me, because I am on a...
You're coming in fine.
All right.
In any event, Herb Sewell is with us, a documentarian. He's made a film about fathers and how they are the neglected parent and how kids they're not as close to their fathers as possible. Your story, and I'm sorry to have to keep bringing it up, is a little different. You admit that you pushed your wife out of a moving vehicle in front of your kids back some 6-7 years ago. You did prison time for this, correct?
I did manslaughter, yes. Phil, the court even acknowledged I didn't even do it so much as I saw myself doing it. You have to get... This was almost... And Dr. Fitterman told me it was an out-of-body experience. I saw myself doing it. So I was almost a witness. I was traumatized as well. I was a witness to myself. And I'm sure you've heard people say, I saw myself doing this. People who have committed these vicious crimes.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard people say, I saw myself do it. So, in the mind of a psychiatrist, what does that mean?
In the mind of Dr. Finneman, who treated me at Avenal, I was traumatized as well. So I was horrified. I was like another person in the car watching this vicious man do this, even though it was me doing it. Now, that all begs... This has all been talked about, and I really want to get on to talking about my film, because I can tell you that...
Well, but there is a court... Have you petitioned the court to compel your daughter, Kim, to see you?
I didn't know that was public, but yes, I have...
Well, we've got a pretty good staff here. You have petitioned the court to compel your daughter, Kim, to allow you to attend her wedding.
I, as her father, have the right to walk her down the aisle. I don't know if you have a daughter, but that happened...
Yes, I do. I've got a 12-year-old daughter.
Well, when the time comes that young lady is going to be married, it is the right of a father to walk his daughter down the aisle. So we have petitioned the court something called Penal 13, section of Penal Code, actually, which enables custody
in extenuating circumstances. Now, she is of age, but I want to walk her down the aisle at her marriage to a young man who is a prominent member of the film industry.
But don't you, this kind of stuff can be seen, in other words, as you want to walk your daughter down the aisle so that you can be in with a son who's in the film industry.
No, that's not the case at all. No. I'm saying...
Well, that's what it looks like. You're a documentarian. This young... What does he do?
He's the son of a studio executive, so he's really not in the field. He's the son of a major studio chief. But that's no. My children have lost their mother, but they gained a father who's loving and anger-free due to the 6 years I did, 3 of which were in isolation, due to violence considerations.
You were in isolation 3 years because of violence, and now you're out, and now you want to walk your daughter down the aisle, the daughter who witnessed you push her mother from a moving vehicle when she was, 14 years of age, and now you also have a movie out talking about how fathers are neglected, and you don't even take responsibility for this because it was an out-of-body experience. I just want to make sure...
My documentary reenacts the entire scenario with a wonder... Meredith Baxter Birney plays my wife in a dramatization, yes. And you'll see, Meredith does a wonderful job of approximating Diane never shut up. She just talked and talked and talked. And you will see how any man would be compelled to just swing the door open and do as I did. I remember I took my foot off the gas just long enough, and I'm thinking about it now, it traumatizes me, but I lifted my right leg up.
And you kicked her out of the car?
Yes.
Stephanie, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendrie Show.
Hello?
Yes, Stephanie, go ahead.
I cannot believe that this man is out of prison, number one. What is wrong with our penal system that a man can murder...
I did every day of the time that was assigned to me by the court.
Excuse me, sir. Something is wrong with our courts. Excuse me for using sir so loosely. What is wrong with our courts that they would only give you 6 years for murdering
I didn't murder
this
her.
woman
It was an
in front of their children? Out-of-body experience.
No, you've
Excuse me, sir, but something is also wrong with the psychologist and with the parole board at Avenal State Prison, and they will get a letter from me that they have allowed you to be on the street. Excuse me.
What is your qualification?
My qualification is that I am a mother who has a husband and 3 sons that are loving fathers.
Well,
and trust me, they wouldn't murder their children's mothers.
Well, if they blathered on, they must be very lucky.
Me, you know what? I blather on like the best of them, thank God. Because it's men like you that need to be put in their place.
Well, wait a minute. What's your deal? First of all, I did the time. I paid for the crime by doing that. And number 2,
you know what? You did not pay the time. Because it's a life for a life. Read the frickin' Bible. You're freaking out being a Christian. What happened to an eye for an eye?
That's not Christian. That's the Old Testament.
You know what? You know what?
Now, the lady that called from Atlanta...
Your children should never speak to you again. And how you can do a film documentary on being a father? This is the biggest joke I've ever heard. Why would anybody pay money to allow you to do a film documentary? I'm sure it had to be self-financed because nobody would be in with you on this.
I want to ask you a question
here.
Herb, I want to ask you a question. How has your daughter responded to the court, you wanting to compel the court to have you walk her down the aisle?
We're expecting a response from her attorney, but I certainly have the right to walk my daughter down the aisle when she's marrying a prominent member of the film industry. Now, this happens to be what I do for a living. You know, are you telling me?
Well, how self-serving can you be to want to walk your daughter down the aisle, a daughter that you traumatized by pushing her mother out of the car, and then?
Let me ask Stephanie. Stephanie, being a mother, don't you think that I have the right to make a speech at my daughter's wedding?
No, I do not. And if that daughter doesn't have a restraining order to keep you 500 miles from her wedding, something's wrong with her.
Well, ma'am, let me just say...
You are a dangerous man, sir. You are still a dangerous man because you have not owned this at all.
I'm not dangerous. I saw myself doing it.
You are a sick, dangerous man.
Well, I wouldn't drive on the Grapevine with your husband and family if I were you.
I'll tell you what. I don't want to drive on any freeway near you because you are a very dangerous man, and the parole board at Avenal State Prison will hear from me.
Well, you can rest assured that 3 years in isolation, I will never push a woman out of a...
You still ought to be in isolation because you're a kook.
You know, Stephanie, let me just say it's a good thing I didn't marry you.
Radio station, nor I am giving you time, but I have never been so angry in my life.
Mr. Sewell, what you're not getting is that it doesn't matter if you apologize to your children. It doesn't matter if it was an out-of-body experience. They witnessed their mother getting pushed from a car.
And you know, when she was getting shoved from that car, she was still talking. I can still see her falling backwards onto the freeway, and her mouth still moving on about some house she saw in La Cañada. Can you imagine that? So
Wait a second. Are you listening to what we're saying, though, sir?
I understand what you're saying. I told you that I am trying to make amends. Kimberly won't let me make a speech at her wedding, and I do want to show a copy of my film to her new husband. Why can't I do this? I don't understand. I've done everything that I can to make amends to these children, and what do I get in return? I'll have a father-daughter dance at her wedding if it kills me. Stephanie, I was nude in isolation. Nude.
You know what?
I had
Sir,
no clothes
and you
on.
should still be stripped nude and still be in isolation. And thank God for the grandmother of your children that have raised them to understand that you are a sick man.
Amen.
Oh, the
Thank
preacher.
God to the grandmother of your children.
You're
I
talking about
praise that woman. I praise that woman for helping them to see the truth about their father.
Now you're speaking of the creature. So you've never met the creature, so
You are a creature, sir. You are a creature.
This is a woman who's raising your children.
Raising my children to hate their father, who in a moment's weakness kicked their mother out of a car.
At 90 miles an hour on the grapevine.
Whatever.
Oh,
all right.
You know what, Phil?
You know,
Please don't give this man any more airtime.
I appreciate your call very much, Stephanie.
Thank you.
1-800-449-8686. I'm going to take one more phone call, and I want you to understand.
I'd like to speak about my film, if I could.
We'll talk about your movie. Okay, but everything out of your mouth here is she was still talking as she was falling backwards out of the car. We'll be coming right back on The Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
The Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Pure exhibitionism.
Amanda, go ahead.
Look, I know you're all upset that your daughter's not letting you go to her wedding, but my father wasn't at my wedding. For 15 years, I had to deal with abuse from my father and watching him beat on my mom. No, he didn't kill my mom, but I'm 24 now, and it's taken me the biggest part of my life to even be nice to my father. No, he didn't go to my wedding, and if I was to do it over again, he still wouldn't go to my wedding because I didn't get along with him. You can't respect someone that doesn't respect you. And you've got to understand that the mother of your child your child looks at them as the most important thing. Most important thing.
You have to hear this, Herb, okay?
Look, Amanda, please understand that even I couldn't believe it. Wasn't me doing it. It was an out-of-body experience.
It was you. No.
I know, I
don't
was
believe
witnessing
that.
it.
I do not believe that.
In fact, they called me as a witness.
You can separate yourself from the situation. I've had to, I don't know how many times, separate myself from a violent situation. It's very hard for me right now to talk to you and not want to reach through the phone and talk to you. Okay.
But ma'am, do you understand that if I could reach out to my new son-in-law, I could get Hillary Duff to reenact the role of my daughter?
I don't care who you have to reenact the role of your daughter. The fact is, I'm the eldest child of an abusive situation, and it has taken me the biggest damn part of my life to even be nice to my father, to even be nice and tolerable to him. You know how it...
Well, you know, Amanda, this is Phil Hendrie. Amanda,
sometimes cringes
Amanda, this
father.
is Phil, and as far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't even have to talk to your father. You shouldn't talk to him. He should be the one who comes to you.
When my grandpa died, my grandpa died 3 years ago.
What kind of advice that you give to that young lady?
He tried to get me to forgive my father and to be nice to
I
him.
wouldn't if I were you. You don't have any duty to do that.
I mean,
Mr. Hendrie, you are abusing this young lady as much as her father did by giving her advice like that.
Exactly.
No, I'm not.
I mean, come on.
Your father is abusing your mother. Abusing your mom is like torture. All I did was open a door and punt my wife out the door like a
football.
football.
Out the door, which is a hell of a lot worse than ever hitting her.
Do you understand?
You killed her in front of your kids.
No, your father.
That's worse than ever hitting her.
Miss Hendrie, you see my point, don't you?
Wait a second. Are you trying to say that because you didn't beat on your wife, you just kicked her out of a car once, it's not as bad as what this girl's father did to her mother?
I would, if I were to go back and redo things, I would much rather have had my dad do something worse than see him beat on her for 16 years of marriage.
Look, have you ever played
because
kickball?
He also beat on us, and, you know, it's hard to see that. It's hard to trust a man after that.
Amanda, hold on for a minute. What did you just say, Mr. Sewell?
I asked Amanda if she's ever played kickball.
And why did you ask her that?
It was like a moment in kickball.
Kicking your wife out of a car.
You are an...
Amanda, please understand that if I can meet my new son-in-law, he can hook me up to the Culkin brothers to play my two sons and Hillary Duff to play my daughter in the reenactment. And if I can do that, I'll blow Michael Moore's out of the water.
I hope you never make anything as far as movies or anybody else. I hope that you rot
what you just said to me,
and your children never get to have a part of you ever. And I hope you never see your grandchildren. Because
what you just said to me is worse than what I did to my wife.
You need to have a part of their life.
Come on.
You don't even deserve it.
Can I demonstrate for both of you? I can demonstrate
for curing the fact that you killed your wife, the mother of your child.
This is exactly why I threw her out of the car. Now, I want Jim.
You know what?
Jim Doheen
You'll
is
never
with
be
me.
careful if you're not in the car with me because I was
Yeah.
on the app too.
I know Jim.
Jim, say hello to Phil.
Hello, Phil.
Hey, Jim.
I want to demonstrate something. If Amanda's still there, Jim's in the car with me right now.
I'm here.
All right, we're on the 110 freeway. We're heading into Pasadena right now. Jim,
Congratulations.
this is the Avenue 43. I'm going to pick you up here. I'm going to swing around when I get up to Fair Oaks, all right? But I'm going to kick him out of the car right here. This is not that.
Hey, you know what? Since you said it on air, now you're convicted. Now
Right.
it's manslaughter.
Now
it's manslaughter.
All right, watch this. Open the door.
No. See, now it's manslaughter because you're taking him out your car. I've had a friend who was shoved out of his car. And you know what? Now we have to start everything all over again.
I just kicked him out of the car at Avenue 43.
Are you kidding me? Are you
You
nuts?
want me to call the police? Because I can call the police. I got call waiting.
No, Amanda, we got it covered. Don't worry. Thank you, though. Thank you for your call.
No, wait a minute. Don't let this young... I just kicked that guy. I can see him. He's waving to me from the exit ramp. He's fine.
What?
God. I hope you run into a very,
All right.
very
If you don't
good
believe
man.
it, I'll kick myself out of the car. Watch this.
There you go.
Okay, Janice, I want you to find out what happened there. Are you there, Amanda? Is Amanda, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. I don't understand
All right,
people like that.
I want to understand people like that. He just threw himself out of his own car.
This is bad to say, and I am a Christian too, and I do my best to forgive people, and I do believe in the turn the other cheek, but there's only so many times
Yeah, I
that
hear
you
you.
can forgive
All right, Amanda,
somebody. You know?
thank you for your call. Thank you very much for your call, ma'am.
You're welcome.
How is he back? Are you back on?
Yes, I'm right here.
Did you throw yourself out of your own car?
Yes, I did. And then I caught up to my car.
Oh, get out of here.
No, wait a minute. Hold on for a minute.
No, get out of here.
No, just one thing, Phil. I just want you to hear, if you think my wife died horribly, I want you to hear the last thing that she heard.
Isn't that funny? Herb Sewell. I wonder why my kids won't talk to me. I just booted their mom out of a car. Happy Monday. 1-800-449-8686. This is the world-famous Phil Hendrie Show.
One 1-800-449-8686. The Phil Hendrie Show is back. Phil Hendrie Show.
Comedy Gold.
This is Phil. Am I talking to you?
Yes, sir. You're talking to me and Vernon Dozier.
I put 32 years in the military.
In a mental institution?
No, military.
Well, I don't understand.
You don't know what the military is?
I don't understand how they let a guy like you in.
What is that
well,
supposed
this guy
to mean?
here with his grandchildren acting the way he is.
My grandkids are going to learn how to gut fish and clean them.
You son of a... I wish I had you right in my hands right now.
Well, what would you do, make love to me?
Yeah, I'd make love to you, all right. I'd wring your damn neck, you rotten... I've got grandchildren.
Oh, I doubt it. Like you...
What?
Like, I don't think you have grandkids. Were you able to have children? I'm not sure.
You I put 32 years in submarines.
Well,
And I'll tell
that's the
you
problem, all
right
that
now,
pressure.
if I had you in my hands, I'd kill you.
You can hardly breathe. You couldn't hurt me.
Yeah, that's right. I do have a hard time breathing.
That's
because I give my life to the military,
That's because you
and I give it to my grandchildren right now.
You spent 32 years breathing somebody else's farts in a submarine.
That's right. We did.
You breathe? Is this Jerry Stiller? I just want to...
Listen,
I don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah, I don't either, Bill. This is some guy who's...
No, seriously, Jerry, is that you? Because I was at the Friars Club in New York and...
You don't belong at the Friars Club, you rotten...
Phil Hendrie Show.
Comedy Gold.
1-800-449-8686. The world-famous Phil Hendrie Show.
now, the Phil Hendrie Show with Phil Hendrie. West of the Rockies, dial 1-800-449-8686. East of the Rockies, dial 1-800-449-8686. First-time callers, dial 1-800-449-8686. And the wildcard line is 1-800-449-8686. And now, here's Phil Hendrie.
Police have released audio tapes of phone calls between a teacher and a 14-year-old student that she is accused of raping. You guys have, I know you've heard this story. And you might even have heard some of the tapes on television. They were played back today. Her name is Deborah LaFave. She's a middle school teacher. She speaks with this boy that she is alleged to have had this sexual encounter with, actually more than one, because I read the actual arrest report, and it was 1 or 2 or 3, I think, in a car out on a freeway somewhere in Florida. So we're getting some comments here. Now, Chris, you are a pharmaceutical salesman, sir?
That's correct, Phil.
Okay, but you wanted to check in on this. Why?
Well, my concern really is the story. In my opinion, it's been in the news the last day or so about this woman. She apparently appeared in some modeling magazines and so forth.
That's right.
And I've had pretty extensive experience, I guess you'd say, about being around attractive women for better or for worse. I mean, the good Lord made me kind of a handsome man, and so I've traditionally attracted a lot of women.
Well, what is you've attracted a lot of good-looking women?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Well, what is your concern?
My concern is I'm worried about the boy involved. I'm worried about the young boy because by putting all this negative attention on Ms. LaFave and having her arrested for rape, you run the risk, I think, of traumatizing him. And
how?
Well, because he's going to feel that his decision to become physically involved with her was somehow wrong. And it's only natural, I think, for a 14-year-old guy or any...
Well, wasn't it? I mean, here is a kid, and I don't want to indict the kid necessarily, but isn't it a wrong... You know, you're right. You shouldn't indict him.
Well, here's my point, Phil, if I could.
Go ahead.
I think it's only natural for a 14-year-old guy or any guy for that matter to obviously want to be with a lady such as Ms. LaFave, because, you know, you can say what you want about her. She's very high-looking, and, you know...
she's attractive, yeah.
And I think we have to draw a line.
Well, here's what I want to ask you. You're not encouraging, are you, an adult, whether it's a female or not, to be sexually involved with a minor child, are you? Because
absolutely not, no.
Because that's the line that I want to draw, and I think most people want to draw.
No, absolutely not, no, sir. But I know from my own experience, because I've been... as I was saying to you, for better or for worse, I've been handsome, and and I had an art teacher when I was in high school. Her name was Mrs. Cummings, who was, I guess, she showed a lot of interest in me. It was a little difficult because she wasn't that attractive, and I mean, she was middle-aged and overweight. And
all right, let me just jump in here, and everybody listening at home, and the caller as well. Let's say, excuse me, let's say that that teacher you're talking about, and what was her name again?
Her name was Mrs. Cummings. She's a art teacher.
All right, let's say she seduced you into having sex with her. You would want her arrested, wouldn't you?
Well, it's different.
Well, how is that different? Here is a teacher. Don't you say that this Deborah LaFave should not be arrested, and yet this Mrs. Cummings, who is a art school teacher of yours, should have been arrested. How's that different?
Well, it's because, number one, I would never have had sex with something like that. I mean, Mrs. Cummings was not attractive. It's frightening to be around her, and I think for any young man to have some old woman come on to him, it can be damaging. What I'm saying, though, is Deborah LaFave's case is slightly different in a couple of ways.
Well, because she's attractive?
Well, because she's attractive, yes, and because she's attractive, naturally the kid is going to want to jump in and go for it, and I think it's just more damaging to have him to have her arrested.
All right, hold the line here for just a minute, Chris. Our number 1-800-449-8686. This is really the kind of conversation I've been getting into all day today with a lot of people about this woman, this Deborah LaFave, this teacher who admittedly is a attractive woman. This guy that I have on the phone right now, and I've talked to other people, feel somehow she shouldn't be arrested because it'll traumatize the kid into thinking he made a bad choice in women. If, however, and Chris, I've got you back on the line here. If, however, she was unattractive.
No, sir, I'm not saying.
You're saying if she was unattractive, she should be arrested.
No. What I'm saying is it would traumatize the kid. It sends a wrong message to the kid to say to him, okay, you had sex with this teacher, Miss LaFave. Okay, she's under arrest, and now it sends a message to him, what's up, with that? So, in other words, is he supposed to have sex with pigs or whatever? I mean,
I don't know what the message is to him. She broke the law.
I understand that, and I'm not saying that. I just think that an exception should be made, that's all.
All right, 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686, the number here on the Phil Hendrie Show. We're talking with Chris Norton. How old are you, Chris?
I'm 28.
You're 28, and you are a pharmaceutical salesman?
Yes, sir. I do telemarketing for a pharmaceutical sale company in Redondo Beach.
And you are concerned mostly because this case revolves around a very attractive teacher and a young boy. Are you saying that this kid, most young guys would not say no?
No, well, it's difficult to judge this case because she's very hot, as opposed to if it had been the average high school or middle school teacher, the average high school, middle school female teacher who is not that, is not hot. And
well, when you say hot, do you mean good looking or?
Well, yeah, I mean attractive, and it's tough to judge this case. If you put her in jail, I think you're saying, okay, it's unnatural to want to have sex. If you put in jail a woman who is large and, not hot, I think you reinforce the message, okay, sex is bad with that, but if you saw, did you see it? I mean,
are you talking about pictures of Miss LaFave?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I saw it. We say it.
Well, I mean, did you see her?
Yeah, she's very pretty. She ain't the raving freaking beauty everybody makes her out to be. I mean, you get a good look at her face, and let me put it this way. It looks like she could use just a little bit of Clearasil.
Well, I think you're being a little judgmental, Mr. Hendrie.
Well, maybe I am, but I it's difficult for me to separate out what's going on here. And I understand what you're saying. 14-year-old boy is a 14-year-old boy. He's going to be attracted to who he's going to be attracted to. But it is really not about him, is it? It's about her.
Again, I think you're missing the point, and this is the thing that I've been trying to say to people as well all day about this case. It's different because if you look at how hot she is, and the kid, and you're going to say to him, yeah, it's wrong for you to want to have that, then he's going to grow up, and there's a very high possibility of what's, a lot of people refer to as a two-bag mindset or a double-bag mindset. And that is...
What is a double-bag mindset?
Well, you've heard the term about how, she's a two-bagger.
You mean she's ugly?
Yes, sir. And what I'm saying is he's going to be into the whole two-bag mindset.
Meaning he's only going to want to be with ugly women?
Yes, sir.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Let me go to Felicia. Felicia, you're on the air here with Chris Norton. Go ahead.
Okay, your points are just completely absurd. I'm a 32-year-old woman, and even I know, regardless if she's ugly, hot, or whatnot, abuse of authority is abuse of authority. And, that's ridiculous, making justifications because she's hot. That's just dumb. What if there was a hot, older man seducing a younger woman, or in this day and age, a younger man? No one would put up with that. They would say it's an abuse of authority. I don't care. It doesn't send what sends a wrong message is the permissiveness of how we treat young men, and they have a screwed up idea of what sex is and what sexuality is.
I agree with the caller. What are you saying, Chris?
Well, Mr. Ernie, let me explain to you and the caller something that I think you're both missing. He's 14. I mean, are you kidding? What 14-year-old? What
other 14-year-old young women? I don't care.
What 14-year-old boy is going to pass it up? And
you do not experiment. You do not take your authority as an adult and put it on
This isn't about the 14-year-old boy.
Have hormones and they experiment.
Okay,
but
that's
my
true.
whole thing is she was in a position of authority. He should know that when he grows up, he shouldn't go out there and 14-year-old.
Well, ma'am, here's where I think you're wrong. If she had been not hot, he could have said no to her. What's she going to do?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, it doesn't matter about the position.
Where you're coming from. You have an interesting view on what is acceptable as a person in a position of authority. Do you believe in sexual harassment? Is that such of a thing in your?
No, ma'am, I don't. But all I'm trying to say is, if you're a 14-year-old boy and you're looking for sex,
I would like to thank you for having me on the show.
Okay,
and obviously,
I don't think you understand.
Your perspective is quite screwed up.
No, ma'am, I don't think you understand. I don't think you hung up. I think she hit number 2.
Don't worry about it. She hung up. 1-800-449-8686, world-famous Phil Hendrie Show. I'm talking with Chris Norton, and he is a pharmaceutical sales guy from Redondo Beach, California. It is his view that Ms. Lefebvre, the woman the middle school teacher who's been arrested for rape, statutory rape of a 14-year-old boy, that this is a slightly different case that needs to be viewed differently by the law. She's extremely attractive. He was obviously a very willing 14-year-old boy. If she had been less than attractive, if she had been your typical, as Mr. Norton says, teacher, middle-aged, fat, or what have you, then yes, she should be prosecuted. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendrie Show.
The Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Define prostitute. The Phil Hendrie Show is back. 1-800-449-8686.
I'm on the phone right now with Chris Norton, 28-year-old telemarketer from Redondo Beach, California, but a man who is self-described as somebody who you say you don't have a big ego about it, but you're a very handsome guy. Chris is.
Well, it's difficult to explain. That I am very good looking. I've had a lot of women in my life, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that sexuality, even for a 14-year-old boy, is very strong. And when you put something hot in front of him like this teacher, and then you tell him, oh, yeah, but by the way, she's going to go to jail for having sex, that will totally jack up someone's brain. And so I'm trying to say, why not give him a break and not put her in jail, but if a teacher was to want to have sex with a student, and she was, as I mentioned, the double bag syndrome.
What is this double bag syndrome, man? When you talk about a kid being afraid of going out with an attractive woman?
Well, that's what they're going to put this kid's mind into, this place where he can only date.
All right, so what if he's only dating ugly women, according to whose standard? What's so terrible about that?
Well, why can't he date also hot-looking women? And the reason why he won't is because they arrested the one good thing that ever,
This is an adult female engaged in illegal sexual contact with a minor. Okay? He may think it's good for him.
Well, are you going to sit there and tell me that that's not, like, what? How is that going to...
I don't know. All I'm telling you, man, is it's against the law. That's all I'm telling you. 1-800-449-8686. Here is Gail. Gail, go ahead.
Chris.
Yes, ma'am.
This does not have anything to do with her being hot, and I'd appreciate if you wouldn't be a heavy breather in my ear. I'm not flattered or...
Well, ma'am, I happen to have a sinus condition. I'm sorry.
It doesn't have anything to do with whether she is hot. It doesn't have anything to do with hormones. What it has to do with the fact is that the woman has no morals. She is a school teacher. She has a responsibility. And the parent of that 14-year-old child
she's also very hot
needs to tell the child that it is illegal for them to teach him some values.
No, wait. First of all, what value are you teaching a boy? What kind of values are you teaching a boy if you say to him the only woman that you can be involved in is beast-like?
Do you know how many 14-year-old boys there are in this country with hormones,
with
good-looking teachers? And do you know if
not
this
that
is
many.
okay,
Not that
how many teachers are going to be in the bed with children?
I want to jump in. This is Phil Hendrie. What was your comment, Chris?
Well, she says, you know how many good-looking teachers there are. Hello, not that many. Okay, I mean 14-year-old boys and a hot-looking teacher, very rare. And now you're telling the kid, oh well. What if he had sex with some beast? Then you say it's okay.
Wait, what do you mean by beast?
Well, I'm
No. What I am saying is that
there's not that many hot-looking teachers.
There are many 14-year-old boys with hormones, and there are many. My mother told me that a 90-year-old woman
that many
can get a man
good-looking
in
teachers.
bed with her.
What?
I said, my mother told me that a 90-year-old woman can get a man in the bed with her, and any teacher could get a student with hormones in the bed with her.
If the dude's been in prison for 100 years.
And you know what that would do to the school system? And
well, ma'am, I don't know where you've been, but there's a lot of frightening-looking teachers that a kid doesn't want to go near.
It doesn't have anything to do with whether they look good or not.
Then he's not going to want to go to bed with her, is he? But you put a hot one out there, and then the kid wants to go to bed with her, and now you tell him no, he can't. Now he thinks that he can only be with a double bag, and that's the double bag syndrome.
She's not supposed to be a whore. She's supposed to be a teacher.
That's the double bag syndrome.
The education, not sex education.
All right, if you want to promote double bagging, fine.
No, I didn't say anything about double bagging. I am talking about morals.
Well,
I am talking
you're asking the average young man to put 2 bags on a woman's head, and I just don't.
Well, no, she is not.
That hasn't got anything to do with bagging. It has to do with morals.
Thank you, Gail. 1-800-449-8686. Here is Karen. Karen, go ahead.
Yes, I'd just like to say, make some comments with regards to what Chris is saying. I think Chris has a very twisted set of morals. It doesn't matter whether this teacher is a 1 or a 10. The focus should not be on the 14-year-old to start with, but on the teacher. We need to send a message loud and clear that teachers are entrusted with our children and that this type of behavior will not be tolerated. I live in a small town in northeast Tennessee, and just 3 months ago, we had a teacher arrested here for having sex with a 14-year-old student.
Was she hot?
Well, let me tell you, the 14-year-old, first of all, did consent to this, but the teacher was a male teacher, and the student was a male student. And it has, it has caused a problem. You talked about this young boy's brain being jacked up by this, this whole process. But
what you're talking about is gayism.
It doesn't matter.
You're talking about
they're both 14 years old, and they're both looking to a teacher that they trust. And the teacher has violated that trust.
Well, now, here's the thing that I think Karen is saying, Chris, and all the callers. This is a violation of the law, number one. Whether or not we think that...
Mr. Hendrie, I totally understand it's a violation of the law.
Well, let me finish. Whether or not the 14-year-old boy thinks his teacher is hot, as in Van Halen's great song, I'm Hot for Teacher, where she dances out in front of the classroom wearing a bikini, and the kids are like, digging it, okay? I mean, I had the hots for a nun that taught me.
Well, that is sad.
Okay, maybe it's sad.
Well, it's sad.
Why?
Because it was a nun.
What, does that make me ill? Does that make I don't have morality because I was hot for a nun?
I think it's pretty sad to be hot for a nun, yeah. What I'm trying to say is, Why would you traumatize this kid and say, yeah, you're going to go to jail because you can't touch something that's sweet, and look at all the ugly teachers that they make you look at? See, that's all I'm saying.
Chris, would you feel the same way if this young boy was 10 years old instead of 14 years old?
Well, if he's 10, he can't have sex, can he?
Well, maybe he can.
It's physically
You're talking about a 4-year
unless he's taking Viagra or something.
All right, Karen, thank you.
What if he's 12?
Right, 1-800-449-8686. World-famous Phil Hendrie Show. Chris Norton, he is a 28-year-old pharmaceutical telemarketer, but he has had experience as a younger man with older women, and he's talking with us about this Deborah LaFave story. If you've heard it, she's the middle school teacher in Florida who's been arrested for having sex with a student. And when I say having sex, the technical charge, I believe, is lewd and illicit battery. That was what she was arrested for, and I think since then she's been charged with rape. Chris, before we move on, you wanted to make a point about her being on the news?
Sure, right. Just a few minutes ago, I saw Ms. LaFave on the news, and the cameraman, as she was walking out of the courthouse, purposely showed everything, and that is a statement by the news media of her hot, you know, how hot she is. And
what do you mean the cameraman showed everything?
The camera purposely panned down, up and down, to check it out. And so, okay, what's that about? Okay, the sex that she had with this young man is wrong, but if you're 14, when are you ever going to get a shot like that again? And that's why I'm saying there's mitigating circumstances.
So she shouldn't be arrested. Should this boy get counseling?
Well, I doubt if he's going to need counseling.
Well, what if he does? What if he, he even expressed a concern, I'm not wearing a condom. He was worried.
Let me tell you something. The only thing that kid's going to need counseling for is all the people, all these other adults like you, and a lot of these people, these old women that I've heard calling in, and making him feel all gilded out on account of he, got excited about, something hot. And
well, you heard the other lady. What if he was 10 instead of 14?
Physically, you can't achieve the chub factor. I mean, here's the most popular kid in his class right now. Trust me.
All right, we'll be back here in a minute. Our number is 1-800-449-8686. The world-famous Phil Hendrie Show.
One 1-800-449-8686. The Phil Hendrie Show is back.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Here is Kristen. Kristen, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendrie Show. Kristen, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendrie Show.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
Hey, Chris, I'd like to challenge you a little bit here. Are you there, Chris?
Okay, Kristen, say it or we're moving on. What do you got?
Okay, what I have here is that certain people that behave in a certain manner need to pay consequences.
Get rid of her. Let's go to another caller here. Barbara, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
I've been listening to the commentary, and I think that the teacher should not be taken off the hook. I think she should be made accountable for pursuing this young man in the first place. He's only 14 years old, and no matter how hot she is, she's the adult in this program, and he's the child. And I think
well, apparently, yeah, but so I'm saying I agree with you.
I think that
but
you,
it's
sir,
different.
Listen to me.
It's different because she's hot. It's different because she's hot. It's different because she's hot.
You, sir, are trying to justify your own behavior by saying that this is right for this young kid, and this is going to do a lot of damage to him. It's going to do damage, but not in the way that you're thinking. You're trying to justify the fact that you, sir, have been messing around with younger women as an older man.
No, I have not.
Well, then older women as a younger man.
That's true.
Okay? And you're trying to justify your own behavior.
And I'm a better man for it.
And I don't think you are.
Whatever that means.
I don't think you are.
I'm a better man for it.
And I don't think you are. And I think this young man should have been directed in a better direction rather than being put in a situation with a woman who should have known better than to take advantage of a situation just because she's hot.
Well, look at your own situation, Barbara. Now,
my situation has nothing to do with this.
All right, but your husband's younger than you, right?
We're talking about...
Isn't he?
No, he isn't. We're talking about...
Well, I find that hard to believe.
We're talking about a 14-year-old boy having sex with a woman that's probably twice his age. At 14 years old, boys, I'll tell you right now, boys don't know as much about sex as they think they do.
Well, how much do you need to know,
They're not responsible at 14 years old, and this kid at 14 years old is already worried about whether he's going to be a father or not.
Wait a minute, how much do you need to know?
I don't think this woman should be let off the hook.
How much do you need to know when you're 14?
She is the adult here. Listen to me.
I mean, first of all, I've been listening to you, but I want to ask you a question.
Sir, is you talk too much.
Well,
you're trying to talk everybody out of what's really going on here.
The hot ability of this woman is what's at stake.
I don't care how hot she is.
What do you mean the hot ability?
I don't care how hot she is. I don't care how hot she is. She is the adult in this program, and she should know better as a teacher than to treat a 14-year-old kid like a piece of a sex object. And that's exactly
what if he wants to be treated that way?
She took advantage of him because he was 14 years old and he didn't know any better.
Well, she took advantage of him because he was 14.
Of a situation to suit herself.
And he had the SES class, so he knows what he's getting into. They give you the SES class.
I don't care.
Don't they give you the SES class?
I don't care.
You mean the sex class?
She's a responsible person.
Well,
she should not be a teacher.
You married a man.
If she can't treat her students in a moral way, she doesn't deserve to be a teacher. She deserves to go to jail.
Let me jump in here, Chris. We are talking about morality.
Well, you're talking, did she treat him bad or did she treat him immorally?
I'm talking about morality.
She treated him good.
I don't care
but she didn't treat him. I mean,
took advantage of him.
You know he walked out of that car with a smile on his face, and so Barbara's all upset about that.
I'm not upset about it.
Well, wait a second.
I mean, first of all, she was hot.
Here. And she should have known better.
What her hot factor?
I don't care how hot she was, and you better stop using that terminology.
And look, he's old enough to ride a moped. He's old enough to have sass.
It's all crap. All that talk that I've been listening to you on.
Hello? Oh, she hung up, I guess. Chris, you have a final statement?
Yeah, I just want to say, Mr. Hendrie, welcome back. I think you did a pretty good hour, considering the fact you had a bad cold. And
yeah, thank you very much. Okay, that's Chris Norton, and, the hot ability of this teacher in Florida is at stake. What a psycho. It's all crap. I don't care how hot she is. I got to agree with him on one thing, and I don't mean to make light of this. Forgive me, but every man knows what I'm talking about. You're 14, you got a teacher who you think is hot, and it just is, well, absolutely. In fact, I'm going to take it all back. You're 14, you don't know what's going on, man, and it could affect you. And yeah, sure, Phil, talk yourself into that. No, Mrs. Jones, I can't have sex with you because your hot ability should not play into my future ability to achieve connubial bliss with my wife. I'll be thinking about you. All right, 1-800-449-8686, world-famous Phil Hendrie Show.
Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
I do the splits over an egg, then I do a somersault into an open watermelon.
The Phil Hendrie Show is back.
By the way, the husband of Deborah LaFave was just on television. The guy's name is Owen. Seems like a bright guy. Seems like a pretty decent guy. And you can only imagine what that poor sucker's going through right now. I mean, it's just like the humiliation of the planet being heaped on him, I guess. He probably doesn't care. I mean, probably better for him that he's getting off of that. I mean, she's probably going to go to jail. I mean, if she does any jail at all, I can't imagine it's going to be for 30 freaking years. They'll probably stick her inside for a few years and give her some psychiatric, shrink her head a little bit or whatever, and then stick her back out in the world, and she'll go right back to teaching and having sex with 14-year-olds. But no, I don't know what she'll do. But anyway, this guy, this Owen, I think he's filed for divorce. At least that's what the headline here says on one of these rather borderline websites that I visit occasionally. This one's called The Owner's Manual, The Collision of Humor and News. It's some guy's blog. Anyway, he claims that this guy Owen has has sued for divorce. I mean, wouldn't you? No, that's okay, honey. Maybe some counseling we can hang together. You were in the back seat of a kid's Isuzu having sex with him not 30 minutes after saying, okay, that's the bell. Tomorrow, remember, bag your lunch. And it's free dress day. And now that kid is like the talk of the campus. Probably the talk of the PTA. I would imagine there's more than a few mothers that I'm joking. All right. It's time now on the Phil Hendrie Show to go to our by request flashback of the night. And here it is. It's from Roger. Roger writes, hey, Phil, I was hoping you could find and post a past bit you did with Pastor William Rennick in which the good pastor recounts what makes people Muslim. That bit cracked me up. Yours truly, Roger Callahan. Roger, by God, that bit is actually on our Best of the Year 2003 CD. It's called The Death of Talk Radio. And here it is. It's called What is Islam? And it's Pastor William Rennick.
And now the Pastor William Rennick Hour. Islam and You. Islamic Roundtable with Pastor William Rennick.
Thank you very much. Today I want to talk about, and first off I want to let everybody know I've got a lot of cards and letters, and I get people writing from all over the place, and they ask me the same thing. They say, Pastor Rennick, why don't you work your microphone a little closer? Why do you sound like you're coming from the other side of the room?
And I always tell them the same thing.
Every preacher that has a radio show or some kind of preacher show on the radio always stands on the other side of the room because they're such a dumbass we don't know how to work the mic. I thank Gladys Kleachman for writing in with that question. And for writing in with that question, you're going to get the Pastor William Rennick Holy Oilcloth. Now what I do is I am immersed in the Holy Ghost. So I go to the Internet Burger stand, McDonald's, I eat a whole bunch of fries, I get myself an extra greasy cheeseburger, and then when the oil starts seeping out my skin, and I get a pimple on my nose or something like that, I wipe that stuff off just like a Stridex medicated pad, then I mail it to your ass for $10. I'd like to thank you, Ms. Kleachman. We will send that out to you post-haste, as we say. Today is Islamic Roundtable. People say, Pastor Rennick, what in the hell? What in the name of sweet, feathery, light, floating Jesus is Islam? Because I got a brother, my cousin, ML, he, what you call a Muslim. I said, what the hell? He said, I'm a Muslim now. I said, what the hell? You look like some kind of a damn Halloween man. What, you going to a costume party? The hell you do? Said to me, you got to understand, we got to return to the religion of our people. I said, man, I ain't swinging on a vine in the jungle no more, man. I'm driving a damn car, walking on the street, living in a house, eating food that come wrapped up in a package. You want to dress up in some kind of chain? I said, there's no way. I'm putting on some kind of fucking Popeye hat and run around calling myself a Muslim. I ain't no Muslim. I'm Pastor William Rennick. That's what I am. Now here today's Islamic Roundtable. Dear Pastor Rennick, what is Islam? I said, what the hell? He said to me, what's Islam? I said, Nebby, the hell you doing, man? You breathe too much of that Freon in that garage you own. But you open the damn door, man, when you paint the inside that place. What do you mean, what is Islam? He said, no, I'm serious, Pastor. Why don't you do one of your shows on what is Islam? I said, well, hell, all right. All right. I'll do it. Here it is. If you hijack an airplane and fly it into a building, you Islam. If you bow your head on a carpet 5 times a day with your ass up in the air like Paul Anka or Shepard Smith, you Islam. If you read the Koran, not the Bible, the Koran. I want you to write that down. Because a lot of brothers, and you'll find a lot of the brothers out there, they're quoting the Koran now. Because like my cousin ML, they're Muslim. It ain't no Bible. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's called the Koran. If you towel wrap turban wine, wear a rag, a tablecloth, a comforter, or a napkin on your head, you're Islam. If you are a woman and you wear a bag or a bed sheet over your head, you're Islam. If you don't smoke, drink, have sex, smile, grin, or laugh, you Islam. If you don't eat pork, barbecue, bacon, ribs, or Canadian ham, you Islam. If you're a poor, raggedy ass, eat the whole out of a donut, dumbass, and you strap a bomb on and walk into a pizza parlor, you are Islam, brother. And if you think there are 7 virgins waiting for you after you blow yourself into pizza toppings, you Islam.
Inspirational Pastor William Rennick Hour. Please write your comments to Pastor William Rennick, Route 6, Kissimmee, Florida.
All portion of this program paid for by Pastor William Rennick and donations from the Joyful Union Congregation Church, Bellflower County.
Out of sight. All right, thanks. That's Roger Callahan requesting a flashback, and we played it for you tonight, Roger. It's called You Islam. It's from our Best of the Year 2003 CD, just as fate would have it. Man, maybe it's because when we do get these requests, we reach for the easiest one to avail ourselves of. Maybe that's it, but we literally get, we must get like 50 or 60 requests a day for bits from the show. So it's only natural for us to say, well, I know where this one is really easy, but we will try to reach back in time. We are limited a little bit for reasons that I don't want to go into, but in any event, we thank you very much, Roger, for that request. And, it's funny because, by the way, you are listening to the world-famous Phil Hendrie Show, and our email address is phs@philhendrieshow.com. It's funny because that bit, actually, I can still remember driving down a highway in Central Florida in 1974, and I was driving from the original transmitter site, and people in Orlando will know the station I'm talking about, BJ 105. And I was driving from the original transmitter site because that's where we broadcasted from when BJ 105 first went on the air, and I was one of the disc jockeys. And I'm driving down, and if you've ever been in Central Florida in the middle of summer, you might as well be in, like, Nigeria or in the middle of the Serengeti or something. It's humid, it's jungle-like, it's hot, there's bugs the size of like folders, like office folders, large, computer mouse pads. That's how big the moths are. And there to my right, as I'm driving on the split-level tar highway, is this little radio station up on those little funky stilts they have in the South. And it's like the religious station. And in there I can hear this preacher banging on the hardwood floor and standing about 15 feet away from the microphone doing his show. And they still don't know how to work them mics. Phil Hendrie Show.
1-800-449-8686. The world famous